Good morning, everyone. Today I'm at my counselor's office. It is 12:50. My appointment's at 1 p.m. and I had to drive here this morning, so I left at like 11 o'clock this morning, and I was just like getting ready and stuff beforehand, so I didn't film anything this morning. But the lighting is really funky right now. Like the sun is like shining in, so then I like put this visor here to try to like stop it, but like kind of just makes it look funky, but whatever. I was a little bit frustrated like coming here today just because I feel like I haven't been getting enough stuff done, and to take 5 hours or more out of my day just to have one counseling appointment is a lot of work. But I had canceled last week because I just wasn't feeling up to going, and I can't just keep canceling because this like counseling is very important, especially with someone with chronic illness. So chronic OCD, chronic anxiety, all that stuff. And counseling keeps you accountable, it keeps you going, it's good for them to know what's going on. So yeah, it's very important to keep going, but sometimes it's just hard. Like, I don't know if it would be this hard if I lived closer, like if it was a 20-minute drive or even like a 5-minute drive, like it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal, but an hour-and-a-half drive to go somewhere is a little bit hard sometimes. So I am gonna go in and have my counseling appointment now, and then I will see you guys when I come back. I just got out of my counseling appointment about 45 minutes ago, and I just stopped at a gas station because I was running out of gas on the way home. I have like probably 45 minutes left, I think, before I get home, and I am absolutely freezing. So I just stopped and got gas, and there's like a little bit of snow on the ground, but not very much. And it's December, what day is it? It's December 7th, and I'm like, if it's gonna be December 7th and it's gonna be 18 degrees outside, there should be like a lot of snow on the ground. Like, I don't like snow, I don't like winter, but I kind of feel like until like Christmas, I'd say for December and January, I am okay with snow. After January, it can go away. But I just feel like I'm not even in like a Christmassy mood because like there's not very much snow on the ground, but yeah, it's freezing cold. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Normally in Wisconsin, we have like so much snow by now, and there's like barely anything on the ground. So I don't know, maybe it will start snowing now that it is like freezing, but I don't know. I'm back from my appointment and it is super late. It's already almost 10 o'clock at night and I haven't vlogged. I feel like I'm still getting the hang of vlogging and definitely am not very good at it yet. I came home and I just worked on some Etsy stuff. For those of you who don't know, I have an Etsy store that's associated with my main channel, which is 101 Rabbits, and I just make rabbit beds and stuff like that. Then I sat with the bunnies for about 2 hours, and I just finished eating supper now just because I was having a lot of stomach issues earlier and I wasn't able to eat until 10 o'clock tonight. But I am super thankful because I haven't had stomach issues in probably about a week, which is really good for me. Like, I struggle a lot being able to eat enough food, and when I do eat, sometimes I get very sick. So I'm just really thankful that the past week I've been able to eat and like have very minor issues. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what we went over in my counseling appointment today. We really didn't talk a whole lot about my OCD. My main treatment that I've been focusing on the past couple months was for my OCD, just because my OCD got very severe probably earlier this year. I can't even think of, oh, it's December, so probably in the like this summer it was pretty bad. So I've been focusing a lot of my attention on OCD, and that was what my treatment has been for the past like I don't even know, like 4 or 6 months. But today we kind of talked a little just about what I've been struggling with lately. So my OCD hasn't really been giving me as much issues this past week. What my main issues have been with my working. A couple of days ago I mentioned how I was having a lot of negative thoughts about how I wasn't working enough and how I wasn't completing enough stuff, and that was a lot of my negative self-talk that my thoughts just accumulate. But there was a little bit of truth to that, just because I haven't been able to work as well as I would like to. Compared to how I worked 6 months ago and compared to how I worked a year ago, I have declined a lot on how much I can complete every day. Originally, I thought there was something wrong with me. I was like, why am I so lazy? Why can't I just get things done? And instead of like looking at the core problem, I was just labeling myself as being lazy, which if you guys know anything about OCD, OCD targets your major fear. So one of my major fears is kind of being lazy or being seen as being lazy, and because that's one of my biggest fears, it's always been one of my negative self-talks, that it's always like, you're lazy, you need to keep going, keep whatever. But that's actually a very unhealthy thing to do, and it doesn't motivate you whatsoever. Like, some people think calling themselves lazy will motivate them, but in reality it actually motivates you less. So don't do that if you do that to yourself. I do it all the time and I really need to stop. Anyways, getting back to my point. We were just kind of discussing like what an average day looks like for me, and like she just kind of asked me questions about, you know, when I feel that way and I'm like sitting on the couch and I'm not able to work, what's the reason behind it? Is it because I'm lazy? And I'm like, well, no, like that's not the cause. And it kind of boiled down to, I'm just extremely exhausted, like to the point of where I just can't handle standing up and moving around, and my focus is just completely gone. Like, I have no concentration left whatsoever. And there's a mixture of things going on here, but I think the core issue was 6 months ago and 1 year ago, I was not in the physical state that I am in now. And I want to make it clear that I don't think I'm like this horribly sick person, because I'm not. But I do have a lot more issues than I did 6 months ago or even a year ago. I know I haven't made a video all about my POTS journey, but all of this started in around August of 2016. That's when I knew something was wrong. So basically it's been about a year and a half since I've realized there's something like not right. But when we figured that out, I was having very, very mild symptoms. And since then, it's become progressively worse. And where I am now, I am in a lot worse shape than I was back then. And it makes total sense that I was able to do a lot more work back then when I was healthier, because I had more energy. Like, my heart wasn't going 100 miles per hour. I wasn't blacking out all the time. And honestly, like people with POTS have symptoms that mimic chronic fatigue syndrome. At least that's what I've heard. I don't know, like, statistics and data, whatever. I don't know if there's like proof, but a lot of the times they say when you have dysautonomia, it feels like you have chronic fatigue syndrome because of everything that's going on. So it makes total sense why I am super fatigued, and it also makes sense why I'm not working as much as I used to be able to. It's just my body is physically not there anymore. And it got me thinking that I don't realize how much I took for granted back then. Like, people, normal people can be sitting on the couch and they can be like, I want to go get a glass of water. And they can stand up, walk to the kitchen, get a glass of water, come back, sit down. Like, if you're like kind of in a mood where you don't really want to get up, people will be like, oh, I don't want to get up, I don't want to get up. But for me, it's like, I feel that way every single time I have to stand up. And I look at other people and I just get jealous at how easily they can do things. Like, I remember at Thanksgiving, like, just having all my family around there, I just like sat there in awe how like people who are older than me, or people who, you know, like my grandpa is like 70 years old and he was on the floor and he just got up and walked to the kitchen, and I was just like in awe of how he can just like pop up off the ground and walk away. Like, that's something I can't do anymore. And that's something I really have to think about before I stand up. Like, if I stand up right now, I could black out. If I stand up right now, like, I may feel really, really sick. Like, normal people don't have to think about that when they stand up. And I know it's such a little thing, like, there's so many worse things that I could have wrong with me, and I'm not trying to like complain, but I guess I'm just trying to show how people don't realize the thought process and the feelings behind POTS. And I don't think I've fully grasped it either. Like, I think I forget that I'm not the same person I used to be. And it's hard when you're 20 years old and you still want to be active and you still want to do all these things, but you have to think about your health and like that you might not be able to. So I don't know, I guess I just sometimes get a little jealous when I see people just stand up and walk away, when like all during Thanksgiving when I tried to stand up, there was several times where I like grabbed onto something because I was completely blacked out, meaning not like blacked out, passed out. I call blacking out just like losing my vision. So I would lose my vision because I'm in a pre-syncope episode, which is pre-passing out. And I'd be like holding on to something and like people would be looking at me and they're like, well, what's wrong? And it's like, I don't want to tell them because it seems like, oh, you just had a head rush. Like, no, it's not just a head rush, and I don't know. I guess it's hard because I don't know how to get my mind around this. Like, how to just think to myself, yes, I'm not the same person I used to be, but that's okay, and I need to accept that. But I also have to know what my limits are, and I don't know what my limits are right now. Like, I don't know if when I'm sitting on the couch feeling horribly fatigued, if I got up and tried to go work, like, would that make me more sick, or would I just push through it? Like, I don't know. Like, I haven't had this long enough to know. So yeah, that's just kind of my thought process. And I wonder if this thing back here has been slowly sliding off the back of the chair while I was talking. I should go back and look when I'm editing. Milo's playing with it, if you're wondering why. But yeah, that's just a random rant, vent. I don't even know what it's called. I mainly just wanted to talk about it because it's been something that I'm trying to process, and sometimes you don't process things very quickly. Like, I like things instant. I want to know exactly what's gonna happen right now, but that's not the case, and my mind hasn't processed this yet, and that's okay. But I wish it did, because I want to feel at peace with this, but sometimes that takes time. So that's basically it for today's vlog. I'm not gonna let it go too super long because this clip is already like 12 minutes long, so it's gonna be a lot to edit. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video and maybe it was interesting to you. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you very soon on a new one. Bye! Are you gonna bite my face? Or you're gonna lick my face? You're gonna lick my face?